Alright, sup gamers. Today we're gonna be learning how to rig models in Pikmin 2. And as an example, I will be rigging Chunky Kong to the Olimar model again. Now, I made this tutorial on this exact subject like more than a year ago, but it's outdated as fuck and hasn't aged well, like at all. So I decided to make a new one instead of having to manually teach people bad skills on that video or having to tell them the skills word of mouth. So the first thing you're gonna need is 3ds Max, obviously, and hold on, I'm just making sure I'm actually recording, so I don't want to like be talking to a wall for 30 minutes. But anyway, the first thing you're obviously gonna need is 3ds Max. Any version 2015 and later will probably work. I'm using 2017 in this video. I think the latest is 2019. I don't know. If you buy it, it costs a lot of money, but the student version is free. I don't remember the installation process for the student version because I did it so long ago. But however, I don't think it's that user unfriendly, so you should be fine. So once you've installed all that, and mind you, it'll take a while, you're going to need a plugin called MaxBMD, which I have here right now. When you hover over it, it says BMD importer. Now, I'm going to link two files in the description, maxbmd.mcr and bmdview.exe, not to be confused with bmdview2. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take bmdview.exe and put in C Autodesk 3ds Max, whatever version you have. And then you drag maxbmd.mcr onto your 3ds Max window. This will run the script. After you've done that, you're going to want to go to Customize and then Customize User Interface. Well, I'm just waiting for it to load. And then you want to make sure you're on the Toolbars part and make sure the category is MaxBMD. By default, it will not be on either of these two options. You're going to have to navigate there by yourself. But once you're in the Toolbars window and on the category of MaxBMD, you're going to take this and drag it over here to the toolbar so that this icon appears there. And congratulations, you're now able to use MaxBMD. Now, what you may be asking, what is MaxBMD? It is a BMD importer that allows you to import BMD models from the Gamecube era in the 3ds Max. I'm pretty sure it works with most BDL models too. However, I don't think it works with the BDLs used with Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U, because they changed the material setup for that model. I think it's not like the old BDLs and stuff. But the ones from the original Twilight Princess, or the set used BMD, I'm not sure. And anyway, and the ones in the Super Mario Galaxy, I think those work with MaxBMD too. We shouldn't worry about any of those games because this video is about Pikmin 2. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing in this folder. Now, in order to efficiently rig this model, we're gonna have to get an animation and test it out. The catch is we need an animation that's a big file and works with the Olimar's model, or the Pikmin model, whichever you decide to rig. I just personally use Olimar because why not? This animation is taken from the cutscene when you discover Red Pikmin, and it will work with Olimar's model because, in case you didn't know, they use the same skeleton. Now, in this BMD folder, we're going to put Olimar's model. And basically, you put the BIC that you're going to use in the BIC folder and the BMD that you're going to rig in the BMD folder. The reason it's like this is good that MaxBMD was... I think my best guess for reason why it's like this is that MaxBMD is originally for Super Mario Sunshine, and in that game's code, Mario's folder, there's a folder called BMD where Mario's model is, and BIC where all of his animations are. Now, most of the models in this game use a different animation extension, those BCA, but that is not supported by MaxBMD at this time. I don't think it's ever will, because I have no idea who created MaxBMD, and they're probably gone. Excuse me, I have OCD. Anyway, when you're importing, you want to make sure you allow mirrored textures. Basically, all the default options, especially character export modeling. That's important. Now, not all enemies or any model that's rigged in the game is gonna have a BCK animation, or BIC, as I've been pronouncing it. Some will only have BCA animation. Because of that, you're gonna need to rig it without animation. That is possible, and it involves skipping a step that I'm gonna do later in the tutorial, and I'll let you know when that part comes. But anyway, this is the Olimar model. What you're gonna want to do first is select it, or what you're gonna want to do first is actually hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to import the model you're doing first. Hey, remember when I said we were doing Chunky? I lied. They were actually doing Sans Undertale. Now, normally you're gonna want to scale the model so it matches up with Olimar's proportions, but I don't need to do that because I already handled that earlier. Your model also needs to be very low poly, or else it's gonna be too big to fit in a game. It might crash. I'd recommend something like around 700 verts, maybe, in the 700s. That's close to what Olimar's vanilla model is, and might be what SuperBMD allows. And yeah, I know it looks like he has most of his teeth out, but just with normal problems. If I render it without back face culling, it looks normal. Now anyway, next you're gonna wanna go click on the Oroma 1 character, or whatever character you're doing, and shift click all of these bones so that all the bones are showing. And then you're gonna want to add a skin modifier to your model here, in this case Sans, and then go to bones, add, expand, display, expand all, coastal, and select all the bones below 0.01. Do not select character or 0.01. Very important. So, okay, so if you were rigging a character who doesn't have a BIC animation, this is the part you would skip. You would, for things to do a BIC animation, since you put it in the BIC folder from earlier, all you have to do is go to the folder where the BMD BIC folders were, and you're gonna want to go in the BMD folder. Now that's kind of out of my way in this computer, so I'm just gonna go find it. No files, Pikmin 2, root, user, Pando, Picky, designer, or model, BMD1. And in your A&M file should be in here. Then you want to click merge animation. Alright, so now you can hide the bones because they might get in your way. But now, as you can see, this doesn't quite match what the animation should look like. But even if you do think it's perfect on the first try, it's important that you rig it yourself anyway, because most of the time the automatic rigging will not actually work if you go ahead and convert to BMD. So now that's the end of the part, the step you would skip, and this is where you would continue if you're not rigging with an animation. So you would go to the skin modifier on your model, click edit envelopes, and make sure vertices is checked. Now technically you could just start rigging now, but I like to rig everything to a certain bone to make it so it's more of a T-pose and easier to do. Back in Max 15, I believe, which is what I used to use, it show wireframe or whatever the selected models, but it's not doing that for this, which is kind of annoying. But I'm gonna make do for the sake of this tutorial. Now you have to rig all the parts of his body to certain bones. For example, his right arm would go to his right hand, and his... Actually, let's rig the legs first. Let's turn on the wire. Edged faces. Yeah, this is much better. You're gonna want to rig his left leg to his left leg joint. make sure everything's fine and dandy over here. So that's for his left leg. And for his right leg, we're gonna select everything here. Now I apologize if there's noise in the background because my sisters are friends over. Alright, so now his legs are rigged. That's good. You can, I guess there's a leg center you can rig it to. I'm not sure if that's actually important. I'm gonna check it right now just to see. Let's highlight his ass over here. Yeah, it is kind of different. So for this case, we're gonna highlight like his crotch, I guess. Fingers in his ass, fingers in his ass, and their rusty legs. His ass. And now you can see Santa's ass, which means we're gonna have to rig the shirt to the fucking leg center bone so it's down. You're not constantly seeing Sans Undertale's ass, not clickbait. Let's test animation, make sure all this looks normal. Alright, looks normal to me. Just to be safe, I'm gonna rig these to prevent possible ass shots from existing. Okay, so now we can rig the hands. So basically you keep highlighting all of these parts of the geometry until the entire model is rigged to the correct bones. Sometimes you're going to want to make a mistake, in which case you want to switch back to 7 joint over here and then re-rig the part you're having issues with. Right, you made a mistake on. Now we're going to want to do the same thing for his left hand joint. Now keep in mind that when you're doing this for a model, it's not the Olimar model, the process is going to be exceptionally different. So, but it should be common. It's basically the same process, and it should be common sense what you're doing with the other models. So I shouldn't have to make a separate. And besides, I'm not going to make a separate tutorial for every single model of the game. That'd be nuts. This looks kind of iffy, so we're going to play the animation and see if anything looks out of the ordinary. Let's try rigging this back to 7 unit. This does look kind of clunky compared to a lot of my other rigs, but this is just an example, and it's Sans Undertale for fuck's sake, so whatever. I don't think I'm particularly obligated to put too much effort into it. Anyway, the last thing we're gonna do is rig the fucking head. It's the face of nightmares. I remember when I was like a fucking edgy, slightly younger teen that hated things because they're popular, and I didn't like Undertale because of that. It was quite the epic time, wouldn't you say? Undertale's kind of good, but I feel like a lot of it was kind of creepy, I guess, especially like the waterfall area, and obviously the True Lab in the Pacifist run. It's kind of haunting moments, but I guess the Sans the man is a cool dude, so none of that matters. Also, when I did the past this run, there's a bug where Sans didn't appear in the Judgment Hall for some reason. I don't know why that happened. I think Toby Fox is just gay. How about that? I think Deltarune's a lot better, honestly. Deltarune like reminds me of fucking Mario and Luigi, those RPG games. I think that would be a good time to confess I've never actually watched my old tutorial all the way through. So if there's some kind of major mistake in it, I would have been unaware of it for like all those times since I've uploaded in fucking summer 2017, right before I went to North Carolina that 1 year. Alright, so it looks like our Sans model is completo. So you might remember from my old tutorial that when I finished the model, Chunky Kong was all distorted and shit when I tested it in game. This is because I had forgotten a crucial step that I now know I should include. When you scroll up here and click assume skin pose after rigging everything, make sure the animation slider is at 0 and not anywhere else in the animation spot. I apologize if my dad is being loud in the background. My sister's friends are starting to be rude. So now you want to click assume skin pose, and then you're gonna want to delete Orma 1 character, delete pointer 1, right click Cosino, click clone, and name the clone skeleton root. And you're gonna right click Cosino or whatever the root bone is on the model you're rigging. Add selected to new parent and then click on skeleton root. Now you export the model as a .day somewhere. I'll name it Orma 1. Okay. Now, next thing you want to do is you're gonna need SuperBMD, which I'll also link in the description. It's a BMD conversion tool. I've never actually tested simple shading on the Pikmin 2 model in a long time, but I think I'm about to discover, if I'm right, that if you smooth out the model in the program you modeled it in, it'll actually work correctly in game. If my testing for Mario Sunshine is anything to go by. But just in case this doesn't work and using simple shading is a bad idea, you're gonna want to just drag it onto SuperBMD directly instead of using one of the shading presets. But since I'm going to do that little experiment, we are going to test out the simple shading walls map, which is basically the same as the normal simple shading include a SuperBMD, except the back face of the normals are not cold, which basically means if a normal is not pointing out the side of the face, it won't render. And if I do it like that, then Sans will look like this and not this. So now we have Orma 1 to BMD. 120 is usually way too big. If you want to make like a model that actually, and if you plan on making multiple custom models, especially, then you need a model that's a lot smaller, or like no bigger than like 80. But because this is just a tutorial to teach you the rigging process, I'll let this slide. Now, if you want to stay within the limit, I recommend you try to make the model as lower poly as possible, and make the texture size as small as possible. Both of those things should reduce the size of your models drastically. Shit, I don't have a hacker. I'm just gonna build it off of Nerder Miner's Pikmin, so that, because it's the most closest thing I have on hand. Oh shit, I forgot to turn the music back on, I just realized. So yeah, this should work, because the models in this hack aren't particularly that big from what I'm looking at. Yeah. Now you're gonna want to compress this with Lunaboy's Rarc tools, which you should already have if you're this far in the Pikmin 2 shit hacking crap. So you can download most of these tools from Cosmic Archive, which I might link in the description. I have to get permission from Sponge. So after putting the BMD in a place where the model you're replacing is, like I did in this case of Pickies, you're gonna wanna pack the arc in. Holy ma. Okay. And now we just now's the magical moment where we rebuild the root. If I remember correctly, Pikmin required you to build off, copy paste into an existing root, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. I guess I'm gonna make that happen now. I would have built off of Pikmin, except Gaily and Batch's models are probably too big to fit the all 120 KB size one in, so I'm not gonna bother trying that. And obviously, as always, you're gonna use Gamecube Rebuilder. I don't really want to overwrite the original Pikmin with this, so I'm gonna name it something else. Let's tutorial shit. And now you just rebuild. Perfect. And now we wait. And while it's floating, I'm gonna go hook up my controller so I can test it in Dolphin. And alright, so now that's done rebuilding, we're gonna, as per usual, we are going to test it in Dolphin. Let me just make sure my controller is connected. Why isn't it working? Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Now we shall test the sand. Hopefully it doesn't crash on us. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Don't ask about the music, it's whatever Nerdomire put in Pikmin. What the f- God damn it, I thought hold on. I thought I put the fucking I thought I put in the fucking sands. I guess not. Alright, let's do this for real and hopefully it won't take forever. Not sure why I didn't copy over when we guessed it. Oh, what? What? Oh yeah, because he didn't put it in the right place. I remember that being an issue when I first downloaded this hack. It's an okay hack. Not amazing, but it's an interesting ambition for a beginner hacker such as Lunaboy. Hopefully you remember everything you just learned so you don't have to watch this long ass video more than once. Okay, so it's done now. So now we're gonna test it in Dolphin again. Oh yeah, wrong. Here's the screen. I'm not sure why the title screen is so laggy. Okay, here should be the moment of truth. Holy shit! The simple shading works! We've not only do we finally have a better tutorial for rigging, but we have technically made a breakthrough in the history of hacking right here, right now. I'd say this is a pretty good achievement. And who would have thought the first character to use this simple shading as a rigged model in Pikmin 2 is fucking Sans Undertale. But here, he used the man, skeleton, the myth, the legend in all his glory. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I might make more tutorials later if you're all nice. Have a good night. I said have a good night.